Between 2012 and 2022, dozens of direct-to-consumer brands raised huge amounts of money, got famous, then quietly died. Here's the unsettling part. They mostly died all the same way for the same handful of reasons. Today, I'm going to walk through exactly why most e-commerce brands fail and the specific things the few survivors do differently, so you can make sure you end up on the right side of that line. Hey, what's up? My name is Ken Rader. I'm one of the co-founders here at the Visionary Group, where we scale 7, 8, and 9-figure DTC brands. And the way most brands die is more predictable than you think. So let's get into it. The number one reason brands fail is that it costs them more to get a customer than the customer is ever worth. Casper is the textbook case. They spent enormous amounts on marketing, subways, podcasts, ads everywhere for a product people buy roughly once a decade. There was no repeat purchase to pay that spend back. When your cost to acquire a customer is higher than the profit they bring in over their lifetime, you're not running a business. You're running a countdown timer, a little ticking time bomb. And here's how to avoid it. Know your two most important metrics: what it costs you to acquire a customer, a new customer, and what the customer is worth over time. If the second number is comfortably bigger than the first, fix that before you spend another dollar scaling. Most of these brands were built mostly entirely on cheap meta ads. That worked beautifully until every other brand crowded into the same auction and the privacy changes hit. Suddenly, the cheap traffic wasn't cheap anymore. When your whole business depends on one channel, a single price can spike, or an algorithm change can end you overnight. Here's how you're going to avoid it. Diversify into channels you own: email, SMS, organic content. The goal is that if any one channel doubled in cost tomorrow, you'd be hurt, but you wouldn't be dead. A brand like Brandless raised close to $300 million selling generic products at a flat, low price. There was nothing to defend, no reason to pick them over anyone else, and no pricing power at all. If your product is easy to copy and you have no reason to exist beyond being cheap, you have no moat. And no moat means no future for your business. Here's how you're going to avoid that. Go back to the lessons that build real brands. Own a villain, own an identity, or own a genuine product edge. You need at least one reason a customer would choose you even if you weren't the cheapest, because someone can always be cheaper. Cheap venture money rewarded top-line growth at any cost. So brands chase revenue while bleeding on every single order. That works right up until the funding dries up. Then the whole thing collapses because there was never a profitable business underneath the growth. Raising money isn't the same as traction. It buys you time, not a business. Here's how to avoid it. Treat profitability as the goal and growth as the result, not the other way around. A slower brand with healthy margin beats a fast one that loses money on every single sale. Almost all these failures share one final trait. They had no real reason for a customer to come back. A one-time product or a leaky funnel simply cannot out-earn rising acquisition costs. Once it costs more to get each new customer and you have no repeat business, the math turns against you. And it's never going to turn back. Here's how to avoid it. Build retention on purpose through subscriptions, through email and SMS, through products people naturally reorder, and through an experience worth returning to. Retention is the multiplier that quietly makes everything else in the business work. So who survives? The brands with healthy unit economics before they scale. They know their ratio on lifetime value to acquisition cost, and they protect it fiercely. At TVG, we hold a bar at least 3-to-1 over 6 months. That discipline is exactly what the failures lacked. The winners prove a customer pays back their acquisition costs quickly, then buys again. They diversify their channels, they own a clear position, and they treat every marketing dollar as an investment that has to earn a return. It's far less glamorous than a growth at all cost story, and it's the reason they're still standing. Let me give you some early warning signs because these failures rarely happen overnight. They show up in the numbers months before the collapse, if you're watching them. The first sign is rising cost to acquire a customer that you have no explanation why. If it creeps up quarter after quarter and you keep telling yourself it'll come back down, that's the countdown starting. The second sign is a falling repeat purchase rate. If fewer of your customers are coming back, you're quietly becoming dependent on an endless supply of expensive new customers, which is never going to end well. The third sign is one channel making up too much of your revenue. If a single platform drives most of your sales, you don't own a business, you are renting one, and the landlord can raise rent at any time. Fourth sign is discounting to hit your numbers. When you find yourself running a sale every time you need to make the month's revenue target, your real demand is weaker than your revenue makes it look. And you're training customers to only buy on sale. If you see two or more of these at once, stop scaling, fix the foundation first. Pouring more into ad spend on top of broken economics just makes you fail faster and more expensively. Here's the encouraging part though, if this sounds like you. Every one of these killers is fixable, and most of them are fixable without raising a dime. You can improve your repeat purchase rate with better email and SMS flows. You can reduce channel dependency by building organic content and owned audiences. You can widen your margins by improving your offer and your pricing. None of that requires venture capital. It requires true attention and discipline. The brands that died during the DTC bubble weren't unlucky, they were undisciplined. And discipline is a choice available to you right now. Most DTC brands fail for the same predictable reasons. Acquisition cost outruns lifetime value. They depend on one channel. They have no differentiation. They chase growth over profit, and they never build retention. The winners do the opposite, quietly and with discipline. Fix your unit economics before you scale, and you've already avoided the way most brands die. Pressure testing your unit economics and building retention engine that makes growth safe is exactly what we do here at TVG. We've worked with over 100 plus 7, 8, 9-figure D2C brands, and these are the things that we're really going to focus on, especially on the economic side and financial part of it, because that is what you need to know, and that should be telling you what ways you should be moving and where to spend your dollars next, not just by feeling or guessing. So if you're interested in knowing your numbers and getting a growth roadmap to be able to scale the rest of 2026 and through 2027, please book a call with us down below. If not, no worries. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.